Okay, this is the case Martinez versus Bynum. It was decided by the Supreme Court in the year 1983, same year I was born. So there's that. It was the facts of the case dealt with a kid, I'm assuming, named Roberto Morales, who was a citizen of the United States. His parents, however, were not, and they lived in Mexico. But he was living in Texas with his sister, but his sister did not want to be his legal guardian. And so the case, what happened is essentially he wanted, like he was not entitled to tuition-free admission into the McAllen schools, McAllen, Texas. So essentially they took it to court. The court, in the end, found that if they had a bona fide residence requirement, like a state, that was appropriately defined and uniformly applied, and furthered the substantial state interest in assuring that services provided for its residents were enjoyed only by the residents, that requirement did not violate the equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment. And so from there, it went on, and they started to, I guess, moving on to those are the facts essentially behind the case. The issues, the core conflict was whether or not he could get free tuition, or tuition free, I guess, enrollment in the schools, and not be a resident, and then what constituted residency. So then they had to figure out what residency is, and to figure that out, the court in the end, just moving down the list, sorry. So those are the issues. Number 4, the holding, the court decided in favor of the state. They said it was okay as long as the residence requirement was appropriately defined and uniformly applied, and didn't violate the that 14th Amendment equal protection clause. Then it was okay to have that. So essentially in favor of the state over Martinez or Morales. I'm sorry, but Martinez was his sister. So either way, in the end, they used a few things to establish what means residency, and they pulled on a few cases, such as from the Supreme Court of Maine, inhabitants of Warren versus the inhabitants of Thomaston. But they established a 2-part definition of what residency is, and they just use that to define whether or not residency has been established or not in whichever case it may be, and of course this case as well. But I think that concludes Martinez versus Bynum.